All right, everybody, continuing our series of quick touch interviews with the Democratic lawmakers who have left the state for the quorum break in the special session. Broadcasting Director Chris Mosier here. We are proud to be joined once again by one of our semi-regulars. She's been on several times now out of DFW, Representative Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. The representative is coming to us from a sufficiently nondescript looking hotel room, so we have no idea where she is, which is as designed. I do have some breaking news that I want to bounce off the representative, if I may, and this is a report
Sure.
that we are just seeing over the last few minutes, coming in this case from Axios. Texas lawmaker asks FBI to help arrest fleeing Democrats. This is Senator John Cornyn, who today has asked the FBI to help state law enforcement locate and arrest Democratic lawmakers who have fled the state. Escalates the standoff clearly as Texas Republicans try to compel the Democrats back to the Capitol so they can advance their plan to redraw our congressional maps here in Texas. Says here that Senator Cornyn has written a letter to FBI Director Kash Patel asking him to intervene. The FBI has declined to comment. Representative, this is something we've thought about and talked about, that the Trumpies would come up with some pretext or some reason to send an ICE-style formation of dudes after you guys, potentially. Is this something you guys have talked about? Your reaction to this story, what are you thinking?
Well, I think this is completely indicative of how desperate Trump is and the Republicans are with their failed policies. This is an indication of how desperate they are, and how they understand that his administration has been a total and complete failure. His administration and every Republican up and down the ballot has been a total and complete failure and have hurt working families, not only statewide, but nationwide. To say that you're going to get the FBI to help you steal 5 congressional seats from Texas citizens, I mean, this, and then now send the FBI after us. It's comical, but you know what? You think about it, sounds comical, but that just goes to show how desperate they are. They understand families are worried about groceries. They understand families cannot buy school supplies, are worried about buying school clothes for their children, the prices of groceries and milk and eggs. They understand that real families are hurting nationwide. But instead of focusing on how to help those families, instead of focusing on how to make sure people keep their health insurance, instead of stripping away for millions Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, instead of focusing on that, they're focusing on stealing 5 seats and incarcerating whoever gets in the way of doing that. I say bring it on. Families see what's happening. They feel the pain. And you know what? We're going to fight fire with fire.
It's a scary situation. I mean, you guys are already disrupted in your regular routines in doing this, and it has to be something that amongst you that you've talked about. Back to the story, though, when we think of these ICE raids that have been done by masked and unmarked and seemingly unlicensed officers, at least those situations had some pretext of apprehending someone who's not supposed to be in the country legally. At least there's some kind of at least a loose scenario by which they're actually able to effect an arrest. There's a story they can tell. But with you guys, I mean, and let's set the record straight here for anybody who has any doubt. You guys are not committing a crime by being out of the state. You guys are doing something that really is very much a time-honored function of legislative bodies throughout our country's history, including in Texas on multiple occasions. Would you agree with that? The Democrats who are out of state are not breaking the law?
No, if your interpretation is using what we understand and what we've always understood to be constitutional rights that have been protected, if that is your understanding, we are absolutely not breaking laws, which is the truth, right? But under this current administration, they have shredded the Constitution. It's not about committing crimes. It's not about what is lawful or unlawful. These people have been criminally indicted, not only Paxton, but Trump as well. So it is not about what's right or wrong, what's lawful or not lawful. It's about a power grab, a racist, greedy power grab. That's all they care about. And so when you talk about these families that have been kidnapped off the streets, these ICE raids, a lot of those individuals as well some of them have been American citizens, again,
Yes.
not committing crimes, and then coming here without documentation is also not a crime.
Hmm.
However, they have used any they don't even need a pretext under this current administration to kidnap people off the streets. They're sliding into fascism, and that's what it looks like when due process and people's rights no longer matter. That is what we're sliding into. So today we still have a constitution and we'll continue to operate that. We are absolutely not criminals. We have not committed any crime at all whatsoever. But the Trump administration and their greedy power grab and their absolute insecurity and failures, that's what they're operating by.
We are definitely getting an example of not only the thin pretext upon which they'll take actions, but also seemingly just tuning completely out of any kind of optics for the American public as far as how their actions will be perceived. But let's continue here, Representative. As we mentioned at the top, our state lawmakers, our representatives, this is a part-time gig. This is not a full-time job. You guys have all uprooted your lives to do what you're doing because it's that important. Some of you are business owners, many with day jobs, lots with spouses and kids and families and responsibilities and the things that all of us have that all have to be put on hold. I'm wondering about you personally. How has this quorum break interrupted your life, basically?
It's interrupted it significantly. Many of us here have younger children who are about to start school. We're not going to be able to be there with our children on the first day of school. My little
Oh,
boy, yeah, my
that's
little,
heartbreaking.
yeah, and it's a great sacrifice. My little boy has autism, and so when I think about Trump's horrible bill, the horrible steal that he passed, they are not only dismantling the Department of Education, but denying services for special needs children. So that is real. My daughter just had an organ transplant 6 months ago. She is on the Affordable Care Act. With Trump's horrible steal, the premiums are going to increase 75%. So I don't know how we're going to continue to afford her health care. So these are real problems. And me being here during the corn break is not easy because I'm
Sure.
not able to work. And I'm a small business owner, self employed. So yeah, it hurts financially, but I understand whatever I'm going through, there are thousands, if not millions, of families feeling the same pain. And who am I to say I can't break quorum for a few weeks, for a few months, when we know families are hurting? They're going to be hurting longer than we can imagine if we allow this regime to continue to move forward and steal these seats.
Let's talk about that in terms of where this is going, what's coming up next. And I know that there are so many, everything's in the air at this point, and there's no telling what's going to happen at this point. But let's talk about what you guys surely have discussed in terms of kind of medium range sort of benchmarks for progress or success. The end of the special session will happen within, I guess, a little bit less than 2 weeks will be the end of the current special session. There, of course, is the filing deadline that's coming up in December towards the end of the year, by which point maps would need to be in place to take care of that and still have a primary in March. What are you seeing as, just kind of the next, not necessarily the finish line, which nobody can see at this point, but like what's the next set of success that you guys are hoping to achieve?
Well, the focus is where we're at right now, right? This special session and making sure that we kill this special session. But where we need your help and help from all your listeners is to also help us recruit the Texas Senate Democrats. We need them to break quorum as well. We all know that a bill doesn't only pass or become law because it goes through the House. It must also go through the Senate. So we are not in this alone, but we need help from the community to say, okay, Senate, now it's your turn. If we work with each other to break quorum in both chambers, then we can do what we need to do long term, which is to kill this legislation so that it doesn't get in time for all of these the ballot and all the lines redrawn to submit for the next election. But we need help to get the Senate on board with this as well. We did this alone last time. We cannot do this alone this time. And we need the Texas Senate Democrats to step up and join us in this fight for the next couple of sessions as well.
We've talked to Senator Roland Gutierrez. He has said he's down to skip town. We've talked to Senator Molly Cook, and I don't remember if she said specifically that she would, but I feel like she would. My senator is Sarah Eckhart. I feel like she would as well. Do you know anything about the current situation with any holdouts in the Senate, individual senators who are reluctant to do this. Can you talk about that? And if you can't, that's fine, but I wanted to ask.
Well, you just named my three of my favorite senators who are also members of the Texas Legislative Progressive Caucus, which
Yep.
I am a chair of. And so, yes, you were absolutely right in those three senators. What we're hearing, it's okay I'm fine with repeating this, but what we're hearing is the two major holdouts are our senators from the Valley. Zaffarini and Chuy Hinojosa. Those
Right.
are the two that we're hearing that are the holdouts. So that's where we need the pressure because this really impacts their communities too. I mean, we know of the significant budget allocation that the Trump administration has allocated for ICE raids, for detention camps, for
Yep.
this inhumane treatment of our people. But that's largely a lot of the communities that they represent. There is no reason that there should be any holdouts because the implications of what it's going to do to our families, no one is beyond the sacrifice of fighting for these working families.
Right. And if you've seen, I saw one sort of animation between the current map and the proposed new map of the valley in particular, where every trace of blue disappears. There is no
That's
blue
right.
in the valley at all with this new set of maps. And so it is a very significant change down there. So if you're listening in the valley, it's definitely something worth calling Senators Zaffarini and Hinojosa to express your views on the situation. Representative, so the conservative critique, and this is very knee jerk, and this is something that we saw coming from 1,000 miles away, is the critique that you guys are running away, that you're skipping out, that you're somehow avoiding what you're supposed to be doing. You haven't shown up for work. Talk about what a ridiculous idea that is and explain why this is exactly what you should be doing in your job.
This is exactly what we should be doing. We're working every day. We're not running from our job. We're still serving our constituents and serving our community. But when you talk to people, the thousands and thousands of people that testified with these sham maps, the sham map that they proposed, the Republicans, this is exactly what we need to be doing. This is exactly what our people asked for over and over and over again in those hearings that they still denied thousands of people. But over 40 hours of hearing over and over again, 99% of the people said fight, do whatever it takes, break quorum, leave the state. We need you to fight for us because we cannot allow this to happen. So not doing your job is being the little whipping boy for a criminal, for an indicted criminal. That's not doing your job. When you're not representing the people of Texas, but you're listening to a con man in New York, those are the people who are not doing their jobs. But we actually listened to the people of Texas, and the people of Texas overwhelmingly support the quorum break and asked us to do whatever it takes, and that's what we're doing.
Very, very good. Well, as we begin to shut down here, what message might you have in particular for your constituents in DFW and your district, for them personally? What do you see as the impact of this redistricting push? What do you think they have to lose in this situation? And what would your constituents in particular, what would you like them to do to support your efforts outside the state?
Well, thank you. Please visit the Texas Legislative Progressive Caucus and our website. But Ramos4Texas.com. But I want to thank everybody for not only testifying, for waiting the hours and hours when they denied they denied us the maps that they already had, to lie to our people, to scheme our people, to continue to try to move forward with this great steal that they're trying to do. So I want to thank everybody for their support. And we have a lot to lose. Not only did they pass vouchers, but it's something almost incomprehensible of what we have to lose. I mean, if you look back at history and some of these wonderful countries who have fallen to fascism, to dictators, to authoritarianism, this stuff doesn't happen outside of our current life, right? Our lifetime. It's happening right now in beautiful countries, or countries that used to be beautiful countries, and now people are starving to death. We cannot believe that will not impact us, or that it cannot come to America, because we are going in that path if we don't do everything to stop this. And so I want to thank everybody, and please put the pressure on the Senate. What do they have to lose, especially in our valley? What do they have to lose by fighting and putting everything on the table to stand up? And I mean, Emiliano Zapata said, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. And we have to die standing and fighting and standing up for what we believe in, which is really the people of Texas and working families.
Very powerful stuff. Representative Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos from Points Undisclosed outside the state of Texas. We appreciate the update very, very much.
Thank you.
And just for context, in case you're not following, there are 11 Texas senators. That's just enough to break quorum. They all have to go in order to stop the business of the Senate. We are told there are two holdouts, Senator Judith Zaffirini and Senator Juan Chuy Hinojosa. So those are the ones that we'd like you to give a call. Thank you so much, Representative, and stay in touch, and we'll do the same.
Thank you, Chris. Have a good one. Thank you.